He's getting older.
You gotta be raping me!
Oh, hit the full button!
But not wiser.
Come with me if you want to live!
This is The Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to The Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you today. A happy Friday and a happy 1st of August in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014 to one and all. Welcome to Lefty Show, episode number 67. Again today, Friday, August 1st, year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014. Let's make August a month to remember. Let's step up from the great July that we had on the Lefty Show. Let's all band together, come together as one, as a fandom, and help move the show forward. And I thank you all for doing that, watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. And I thank everybody. You want to help out the show, share it with friends, family, and coworkers. Tell them to subscribe to the RSS feed, leftyshow.podbean.com. Or you can head on over to your favorite Android podcasting app of choice, search The Lefty Show. Or if you really want to help out, head on over to the iTunes store, search The Lefty Show there, find the show, subscribe, and leave a rating on the feed, if you please. That's a great way to do it. Thank you to everybody also that's been helping out the show at imraising.com/643 Productions. That's imraising.com/643 Productions. A great way to help out the show directly. Probably going to be a short show today. Got some places to be. Katie and I have to road trip to say goodbye to a family member of hers, and it's, the show must go on in some sense, right? I mean, that's the cliche that everybody spouts in a time of tragedy. Probably as a defense mechanism, if I had to guess. Again, I'm not trained in that area, not educated in that area, really. I'm not educated in many areas, but specifically not the use of defense mechanisms and all that thing. That's for somebody much smarter than I. But it would appear to me that things like, oh, the show must go on, or they would have wanted it this way, or they would have wanted this, they're defense mechanisms. They're coping mechanisms to witnessing or being close to witnessing mortality. And that's a concept that humans inevitably and usually shy away from. It's something where, at least for me, the idea of mortality it becomes very introspective, because I'm of the mind, I don't say, when I think of me, when I think of myself, when I think of and I think of putting myself at risk, I don't think of myself in the third person. I think of my consciousness. I think of the very thing, or try to think of the very thing that allows me to think the thoughts that I am, that allows me to come to the conclusions, the decisions, the reasoning, the words, the thoughts, all the things that I experience and all the things that I do. I think of that. So when I say I don't want to do this, it's not necessarily because I'm lazy. If I think it's risky, it's because I'm putting not some abstract third-person notion of myself. I'm putting my very consciousness on the line, and I don't want to do that. And when something like, a death in the family, so to speak, when that happens, everybody's forced to face it. And it's usually a high time of emotions, a lot of nostalgia flowing about, but also a lot of dread, a lot of worry about something we all know is out there lurking and will eventually, no matter what we do, get us and come to fruition. And it's a pretty heavy thought to get a little hippie on you. It's a pretty heavy thought, man. It's pretty out there to know that, holy shit, fuck, this is all going to end one day. And not only will it end, I won't even know that it will end. There will be no consciousness of mine. There will be no existence that I have to understand or fully contemplate the idea that it has ended. There will be no abstract thinking. There will be nothing else. Nothing at all. No notion of the passage of time. Nothing. Ended. Done. That's it. And it's a pretty heavy and, to be completely candid, scary thought. And I give crap to religion a lot. I give crap to the religious a lot. And it's not without, and I want to say this now, it's not without empathy. The crap I give to religion and to the religious people is not without empathy for probably the reason why 95 point, whatever within 2 standard deviations of the mean, I think it's 90, is it 95.7? 95.7%, or is it 97.5%? Shit, I always get them screwed up. But 95, suffice it to say, whatever 90, the reason, it comes with empathy for the reason probably why 95% of them are religious. And I understand it. I understand at the very least, the initial draw to religion. The initial draw when you first have that epiphany of this is going to end. And then here comes religion in one form or another saying, it doesn't have to be that way. You also didn't say the magic word. You didn't say the magic word. And you didn't say Allahu Akbar. You did not say praise be to God or praise be to Dale or anything like that. You didn't say the magic word, but you do say the magic word. I offer, at least, at the very least, I offer you comfort with that notion. I offer you something else that you can take with you throughout the rest of your life. Whenever this comes up, whenever you are faced with, hey, that smack of reality, whenever you're faced with, hey, this is going to end, you can say, I got my little religion badge right here. And you put it up and you use it as a shield and some people use it as a shield for many other things, but it's perfectly acceptable to use it as a shield for not wanting to think about hard truths about your own existence, about your own mortality. Now people take it too far and they use it for a shield for doing shitty things, diddling kids, murdering children, all these other things, and they say, oh, Jesus said it was okay, or oh, Allah said it was okay, or the Prophet Muhammad, or whatever. Then you go too far, I've got no love for you. I've got nothing for you. No empathy, no sympathy. Whatever it is, I still get the two mixed up, despite the other day Googling the exact differences between them. Empathy is identifying with and being able to put yourself in somebody's shoes. Sympathy is something else, I think. But that initial one of the initial reasons why people become religious, at least one of the reasons I think that people become religious, I have empathy with. If you are religious and you listen to this show and you believe I attack your religion, moving forward, know that I'm not trying to attack, that I'm not trying to make you feel sad. I'm not trying to remove that safety blanket, because everybody needs a safety blanket of some kind. For the religious, it's easy. For atheists, it's a bit harder, but not impossible. It's more of I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to think about it, or I'm going to make whatever time I have here worthwhile to me. And then just going to go on about my business. But even then, atheist, nobody wants to confront the issue. Atheist or theist, nobody wants to confront that issue. Nobody really wants to confront that issue. Even the fanatics, before they push that button on the det cord vest they're wearing, on the det cord trimmed vest they're wearing with the C4 lining or the Semtex lining, before they push that button, they think, what if, bam, nothing. And it's just nothing. End. Done. Nothing. No consciousness. Nothing. And it's, again, it's a pretty heavy thought. And I was forced to confront it with this whole thing that's been going on. And also, with regards to my business, I got some more bogus copyright claims on YouTube videos. Now, some people may say, "Oh, you're comparing death to YouTube." It's like, yeah, this is a business for me. This is what I do. And on 3 separate Destiny beta videos, there were bogus copyright claims brought forth by YouTube's autonomous content ID system. And I was claimed by Brothers and Sons, which I don't know, some other network or something, or Leech Network or whatever. So what happened was somebody uploaded Destiny beta gameplay, and the claim times were all during menus. All of them, menu shots. So somebody had a menu shot on their video, and it got added to their network's Content ID library, even though they don't really own the copyright. And my Destiny, a bunch of videos on my Destiny beta Let's Play got claimed. And for those of you that don't know how it works, is my channel is still technically in good standing. However, for the time being, the monetization, the ad revenue from those videos, or those videos are, at the very least, are not monetized. There's no ads showing on them. And even if they were, that ad revenue would be going towards these people that inadvertently, most likely it was not actively somebody from this network or Leech Network or whatever it is. It was not somebody from this network going through and saying, oh, that's ours. It was just YouTube's autonomous system fucking people, fucking me again. I had this shit when doing PKA plays. I had it a bunch with Kyle's network, and it was a pain in the ass. It eventually got cleared up. But I realized I did 10 videos. 3 of them got claimed. So some 30% of my Destiny Let's Play was claimed erroneously, but that doesn't matter. They were claimed, third-party Content ID matched erroneously by YouTube. And I looked at that, and I just, with everything that's been going on in the last couple weeks, all the shit, liars spouting lies, idiot children believing those lies and coming to me to say all the most hurtful things they possibly can, and not gonna lie, losing subscribers, which is fine. They probably were only active for PKA play stuff anyway, and not anything else. But it's been sobering, not worrisome, not fuck this and fuck you, not turning around and I'm not turning around and giving the finger at everybody, but it's been a sobering realization that as fun as YouTube has been for the last 3 years, as fun as it's been for the last 3 years to do this, as fun as it has been, 4 years maybe, there's got to be a life after YouTube. I know a lot of, after, I was really into sports and covering sports broadcasting, all that stuff. And I know that there's a few instances of that kind of feeling in that business. One is the athletes that realize, holy crap, I'm not going to be a multi-million-dollar paid athlete for the rest of my life. My playing career will end. And in some sports like the NFL and NHL, sometimes that career is only a few fleeting years of making the league minimum, which is still a couple $100,000. But you've sacrificed your life, perhaps even your education, perhaps even your body to do this, and you've made a couple $1 million, but now you're out on your own. You've got maybe you have parchment on the wall, but it means nothing. It absolutely means nothing because you didn't go to the classes. You didn't write those essays. You didn't take those exams. And so now you're fucked. And you have to realize, oh, shit, there's going to have to be a life after football. There's going to have to be a life after basketball, a life after baseball or hockey or soccer. There's going to have to be a life after all of this. And for the people covering the sport, it's in the same vein. They were all at one point people that wished to be athletes. Everybody wishes to be athletes, especially males. Little boys, y'all. Everybody wants to be a professional football player. Everybody wants to be a professional hockey player, baseball player, what have you. Just like everybody wants to be an astronaut, too. They want to be, the off-season, they want to go into space. They want to, meet up with the International Space Station, do the science thing, then come back in time for spring training or summer training camp. And it happens when those reporters realize, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to be an athlete. I'm not going to do this. And it's really sobering when people covering the sport realize, or people trying to get into the business realize, holy shit, the prospects I'm reporting on are now officially younger than me. And that's a sobering realization that Yeah, okay. This is effective codification of the fact that my dreams won't come to fruition, or my dreams will eventually have to end. And it's on top of everything that's been going on, and forward is the only direction to move. There's nothing I can do but move forward with YouTube. There's nothing I can do but move forward with YouTube for the time being. That's just the fact of life. And streaming, of course. Twitch.tv/lefty643 is where you can find that. But I realized 30%. And I thought about that for fucking ever. 30%. 30% of my work so far on Destiny Beta claimed by somebody else. And I have to fight it. I have to fight it. All 3 individual claims. I have to go to fucking YouTube and be like, YouTube, no. And even then, maybe not. And I realized this is going to have to end someday. And there's going to have to be something else I do. Now, I've got demo reel. I've got plenty of content that I can cut up into a demo reel. Try to get a job at a radio station somewhere, or Sirius XM or something like that. I could get back into sports broadcasting, do some sports radio. I'd love to do that. Maybe that would be a Patreon bonus of some kind if I start one, or something. I'll do a sports podcast with guys around here that like to talk sports. I know some of you don't. That's fine. But there's going to have to be a time where this ends. Just like having to come to the realization that my consciousness will end, and forevermore it will end, unless you believe in there's only a certain number of ways a personality or permutations of a personality given our brain, and so theoretically, given a large enough number of sample sizes, or a large enough sample size of human brains, you can probably have very, 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 very similar personalities over a long enough time frame, and that could eventually roll into you have very, 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 very similar consciousness in a long enough time frame. But I don't know. But outside of that, having to come to the realization that my consciousness will end, I also have to come to the realization that YouTube will in some way end. I mean, it's not like YouTube is going away, but in terms of, if I want to be a Let's Player, if I want to do gaming content on YouTube, I can't have 30% of my shit be nabbed by YouTube at any one point. At any one point, YouTube could theoretically grab 30% of my shit and say, nope, I can't have that. That's not going to, no, that won't fly. And I don't know. You don't know what happens, or you don't know what it's like for your consciousness to end. And similarly, I don't know what it's like for YouTube to end. And I don't know what I'm going to do after YouTube ends. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. That's what the spice of life is, finding out. I've said it before and I say it again. The spice of life will be finding out what to do after YouTube. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. I don't know. But I was reminded there's very real and evident parallels between having to face mortality today and having to face digital mortality. Or having to face abject mortality today and having to face digital virtual mortality in the form of YouTube. And what comes after that? I don't know. Don't know. Find out. Maybe I could get a job. Serious? Maybe I could get a job. Sports Radio 670, The Score in Chicago. No idea. But I realized yesterday, after a great live stream of The Last of Us Remastered on my Twitch channel, I came back to emails saying, hey, these 30% of your Let's Play gone. Fuck off. And I thought, oh, well, that's nice. That's very nice, YouTube. Thanks a bunch. Thank you for all the years of continually fucking me more and more and more until one day I'm going to have enough. One day I'm just going to have enough, and I'm going to venture out someplace else. Because, again, it's easy for people to say, I've dealt with this a lot in splitting from PKA, you should have just said whatever. You should have just taken whatever. People say you should have taken whatever they said. Nothing. You should have just accepted it and just taken it and done it. And I say, really? Would you want that life for yourself? where you just do anything anybody says, you take anything anybody gives you, and you say, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?" I don't want that. Who wants that? And who in their right mind would wish that upon somebody else and say, "No, you should just be happy. Just take it and shut the fuck up." He said, no. No, because I'm not going to stand for that. I'm not going to debase myself and allow that to be done to me over and over and over again just so I can have the perceived luxury of hanging out with some people that may or may not like me. No. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go out and venture out on my own. And if I can do it on my own, great. And if I can't, oh well. Find someplace else. I'm not going to stand there and hold water for somebody just because you think I should. No, that's like saying the guy at McDonald's who's making $9.50 an hour, barely making ends meet, barely, even if he's living in the sticks. He's got to hope he doesn't get the fucking flu. Never mind an infection. Never mind there's Ebola coming. It's coming for all of us. Oh my God, Tom Clancy was right. Guy can't even get sick. And it's like telling him, you should just be thankful that you have this. No matter what McDonald's says, no matter what McDonald's does to you, they should tell you, they could tell you to like fucking crawl inside the sewage tank and shovel out all that shit for $9.50 an hour. And you should just take it because you should be happy to have a job. Fuck you. That's what you're saying. No. There's a point after which, no more. And I don't know where that lies with YouTube, but in a system, YouTube now has a system in place where at any given time, 30% of a Let's Play or 30% of a video series could not disappear, but disappear from the accounting ledger at any one time. And that's not good. And that probably, no doubt, gets us closer to a point where I just say, no more. I'll find something else. Let's do some news here before we head on out. We got some stuff to talk about today. Obama signs an executive order speaking about Ebola. Obama wants to detain you if you display even tangential signs of a respiratory illness. And Colorado starts issuing driver's licenses to undocumented migrants. Thousands will be eligible for state licenses and ID cards available to immigrants regardless of their legal status. It's the news with Lefty. Let's get into all the things. Let's talk about Obama signing this executive order here. President Obama has signed in. This is from DC Clothesline. I thought it was. I was like, oh shit, am I reading? Is this Macy's? Oh no, it's a clothesline. Bam. I was going with the wrestling reference. The tagline is for the website, airing out America's dirty laundry. As the Ebola outbreak continues to cause concern, President Barack Obama has signed an amendment to an executive order that would allow him to order the apprehension and detention of Americans who merely show signs of respiratory illness. The executive order, titled Revised List of Quarantinable Communicable Diseases, amends Executive Order 13295, passed by George W. Bush in April 2003, which allows for the apprehension, detention, or conditional release of individuals to prevent the introduction, transmission, or spread of suspected communicable diseases. The amendment, signed by Obama, places subsection B of the original Bush executive order, which referred only to SARS. Obama's amendment allows for the detention of Americans who display, quote, severe acute respiratory syndromes, which are diseases that are associated with fever and signs and symptoms of pneumonia or other respiratory illnesses, are capable of being transmitted from person to person, and that either are causing or have the potential to cause a pandemic, or upon infection are highly likely to cause mortality or serious morbidity if not properly controlled, end quote. Although Ebola was listed on the original executive order signed by Bush, Obama's amendment ensures that Americans who merely show signs of respiratory illness, with the exception of influenza, can be forcibly detained by medical authorities. There are medical authorities. There are police doctors. There are medical police. We've got military police, we've got state police, we've got local police, we've got the highway patrol. Now there's medical authorities. There are medical authorities. A doctor can now order you fucking detained by the police by 5-0. Oh, God bless America. Although the quarantining of people suspected of being infected with the Ebola virus seems like a perfectly logical move, the actual preconditions for this to happen aren't restricted to just those suffering from the disease. As we highlighted earlier this week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has measures in place for dealing with an outbreak of communicable disease, which allow for the quarantine of, quote, well persons who, quote, do not show symptoms of the disease. This is President Obama handing over arrest authority to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, I believe it was. Yeah, because it's CDC, but it's actually CDC, and there's a little A and P, I believe it was, because it's the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. President Obama, by executive fucking order. Now, I have no problem with detaining people in an Ebola outbreak, and I'm not a doctor, but I did read that Tom Clancy book, and it was fucking scary. And I know from just general understanding that Tom Clancy really did his research very well, and he wrote probably as close to reality as he could. I know in the Sum of All Fears, he actually had to change some things because he basically told people how to make a nuclear bomb. But anyway, I've never studied the Ebola virus. I've heard about it, read a little bit about it now with the recent outbreak. And here's the thing. While it's bad, of course it's bad. Of course it's a communicable disease, and it fucking kills you. Like, very quickly. It kills you. And it kills a lot of people. Now, the theory goes that it's very volatile. It will kill you. But the disease will quickly mutate into a killing fashion. It will cease to be a death sentence after a few, maybe as short as a few months, because the disease will mutate in transmission and it won't be the same thing anymore. However, here's the deal. While I understand the logic and perhaps even the need for quarantining people with such an outbreak, with such a disease, we have those things in place. Declare martial law. Declare martial law. That's it. That's all. The president has it within, there is the authority within the government to declare martial law, for Congress to declare a general state of emergency and enact martial law. That is a power, as I understand it, of Congress, of the entire federal body of government. That is something they can do. Do it. I don't want one person being able to write something down on a piece of paper and then I can be detained. And by the way, the incubation period, as I understand it, for Ebola could be as many as 3 weeks. I can be forcibly detained without recourse for as many as 3 weeks to a month because I cough too much in front of the wrong person. Because, oh, by the way, the reason I cough sometimes is because I never had my tonsils removed as a child. And the ear, nose, and throat guys that I went to go see said, oh, you have above average sized tonsils. You got some big old swinging tonsils there, big stroker. And I said, all right, what does that mean? They say, well, if you have sinuses or allergies and you got mucus going down there, or if you drink coffee and it's warm and it warms up the mucus down there, it'll slide down, it might get caught, and you might have to hack and cough a little bit to clear that up. It's nothing serious. It's totally acceptable, but that's it. If I did that in front of the wrong person right now because President Barack fucking Obama signed a piece of paper, bam, 3 weeks in a detention center. Executive order. Bah! Fuck your rights. Fuck you. Get out of here. I'm President Barack Obama. No. No more. I'm sick of shortcuts. I'm sick of efficiency, and I'm sick of fucking shortcuts. Stop with the shortcuts. Stop. No. No shortcut to detaining people. No fucking shortcut. You have the power. Go through it through the proper channels, and then it's ironclad, and I can't say shit. But when you just sign an executive order that says, fuck you. The executive order is basically the president saying, the law, fuck the law, this is what I think, and we're going to do it. And it can be challenged, certainly, but good luck challenging an executive order in any reasonable amount of time. So I'm sick of, stop with the shortcuts. Stop no. This is an illegal unconstitutional executive order, and Barack Obama should be fucking shamed. I don't care about Ebola, and I don't care about people dying. I don't care. He should be fucking shamed for even thinking this is the proper course of action. Declare a state of emergency and martial law. Oh, you don't want to do that? Oh, because, well, it's only in a certain place. Then why the fuck are you signing an executive order that says you can detain fucking anybody for anything? I don't want to hear this shit. It's deplorable, and Obama should be shamed. Mr. Obama should be ashamed, defiling the office of the presidency. In other news, this is from The Guardian. Colorado starts issuing driver's licenses to undocumented migrants. Colorado will begin issuing driver's licenses and identification cards to immigrants on Friday, regardless of their legal status, underscoring a sea of change in a state that less than a decade ago passed strict immigration enforcement laws. Now, thousands of immigrants are waiting to get cards they hope will add a degree of legitimacy to their residency in Colorado. About 9,500 people are signed up for appointments through the next 90 days to get the documents, with more getting scheduled every day. Both people in the country illegally and those who have temporary legal status will qualify. The demand for the licenses and identification card has been tremendous, with the state's website for appointments crashing at one point because of traffic, and immigrant advocates urging officials to add more locations where people can go. So far, appointments are being handled at only 5 locations: Denver, Aurora, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, and Grand Junction. But it wasn't long ago that immigrants could only dream of walking into a Department of Motor Vehicles office to get a license. In 2006, Democrats and Republicans in Colorado passed a package of laws cracking down on illegal immigration, including requiring law enforcement to notify federal authorities when they arrested someone suspected of living illegally in the U.S. That law has since been repealed. Last year, Colorado was among 8 states that passed laws allowing identification documents for people in the country illegally. 2 of those states, Illinois and Nevada, the S is silent, have already started issuing the documents. California plans to start in January. There's a lot more to the article here. But suffice it to say, illegal immigrants are now going to be now licensed to drive the state of Colorado. Do illegal immigrants pay income tax? They pay sales tax, sure. They pay income tax, federal or state? They pay for... Here's the thing. I'm not going to talk about what it means to be a citizen, because, of course, if you come out in any way against this, you're a bigot, whatever, you're against illegal immigrants, I'm not going to talk about, what I have to go through to be a citizen and the burdens on me. Oh, my God. I'm not going to say that. No. All I want to know is they're going to be licensed to drive now, right? And, of course, they're going to be required to have insurance, but realistically, how many of them are going to be insured? I can't say right now. I'm going to wait for the numbers to come out. I hope it's going to be studied how many of the illegal immigrants that are now going to be granted driver's licenses immediately went to their local insurance agent to buy insurance, to buy high-risk insurance, because that's what it's going to be. And high-risk insurance is the most expensive. But I'm interested to hear the numbers, but something tells me they're not going to be insured at the rate of, quote, legitimate citizens. Something tells me that. I don't know. Could be wrong. But my question is, okay, so they're going to be driving. They're going to be driving on roads and highways, both state and federally funded, huh? Now, do they pay state or federal income taxes? They're supposed to, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, they're supposed to. They're supposed to pay. Right. Yeah, I get it. How many of them actually pay? How many of them? How many illegal immigrants with jobs? Because they come here to work, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody wants a job. These are probably honest, hardworking people. They're probably honest, hardworking people. They're not vagrants. They're not rapists or murderers or criminals, probably at any statistically significant greater rate than any other faction of society. They're just hardworking. Okay. But how many of them pay taxes? How many of them pay taxes and they're going to be driving on the roads? It's the same thing with the guys that drive their Teslas around or other electric cars, the Nissan Leaf or whatever it is, Chevy Leaf, whatever, Leaf, Green, the whole thing. Or they're hybrids, and they drive that, they cease buying, absolutely, it's just like a clean break of a bone. They just stop buying gasoline and stop funding the Federal Highway Fund. The Federal Highway Trust Fund. They stopped funding that, which pays for a lot of fucking work throughout the country. That's why all your highways in your local area, all the toll roads, all the highways and all the superways and all that stuff, much of that is paid for by the Federal Highway Trust. Now you get your Tesla and you stop buying gasoline. The Federal Highway Trust is funded by gasoline tax, federal gasoline tax. That's how it's funded. So you stop paying money into the Federal Highway Trust Fund, and the Federal Highway Trust goes broke, work stops, and the roads are shit. Guess who's right up there complaining? Those assholes in Teslas. Oh, why are the roads shit? Well, guess what, asshole? Because you didn't pay into anything because you thought you were going to be Mr. Green and energy efficient. Yeah. Well, guess what? Now the roads are shit because you didn't pay into the Federal Highway Trust. We're all fucked now, in part because of you and the smug surrounding you. So now, here come illegal immigrants, probably a good portion of which don't pay income tax on the federal or state level. And they're going to be using and breaking down, just like everybody else, eroding, let's say, adding to the general erosion of roadways. And they are not paying into the funds that come and help it, that come and fix those things. And so how long before people are crying, or before the state of Colorado or the California or Illinois is already fucking broke. We can't even fund anything. How long before the extra tires on roads, every 4 tires for every illegal immigrant that's now getting a driver's license, despite their legal status, how many of them are going to be adding to the destruction, the general destruction of the roadways, background destruction, if you will, the background destruction of the roadways, and then all of a sudden, all this shit needs to be fixed in 5 years when it was supposed to be 6. We thought we would have 6 or 7 years to fix this, but now there's an extra 20,000 drivers on the road, each with their own vehicle, or I don't know, 75% of them with their own vehicle, and shit, now these things are done in 4 or 5. Fuck. We're completely out. Where's the money come from? Well, they don't pay taxes. Ah, shit. And also, even if, again, I could be totally wrong, and a lot of them could pay income taxes, which, all right, well, then what the fuck? Then why are they illegal? If they have driver's licenses and they pay taxes and they have insurance, can we just stop calling them illegal then, please? What with all this bullshit? You have to know this line of succession. You have to know the Constitution. Get the fuck out of here. Let these people be citizens and let them go on about their lives and not worry about living with the stigma that comes with being an illegal or not having the rights. You pay taxes. Do you pay taxes? You have a driver's license? You got insurance? Car insurance, I mean? What the fuck? You're a citizen. Here, bim solid bim. Here you go. Welcome to the club, baby. Why is the barrier to entry for citizenship so fucking high? Should be just like walking around, like crossing people. Whatever the American version of the cross, maybe just hit them in the face with an apple pie. Or like have them eat a cheeseburger or something. Like, here's this cheeseburger. Welcome to the club. Here's this cheeseburger. Now you're all in the club. Yay, here you go. Welcome. Now get to work and start paying taxes, you assholes. That's what we should do. What the fuck? Why do we make it so hard for people to be citizens? However, this is something that I've long argued as we wrap up the show, heading into the home stretch. Colorado starts issuing driver's licenses to undocumented migrants, okay? So, in the state of Colorado, and in other states, Illinois, California, and one other, illegal immigrants are given licenses to drive cars. Now, I have been told time and time again since I learned to drive, way back 11 years ago. When I learned to drive, I was told over and over and over again, and I've been told over and over and over again when talking about DUI law and talking about the bullshit surrounding punishing people for driving offenses and all these things. I've been told many, many times driving is a privilege. Driving is a privilege, not a right. It is a privilege of citizens of a state that state or that state's Secretary of State licenses them to drive motor vehicles. And because of the full faith and credit clause of the Constitution, that license is recognized throughout the 50 states of the Union. In every state of the Union, your license issued to you by Arizona, by Colorado, by Wyoming, by Illinois, by New York, every other state recognizes it. It's a privilege now, but it can go away. If you fuck up, we take it away. And you are suspended, and it is a crime. It is a crime to operate a motor vehicle without proper licensure, without proper privilege. It's a privilege. It can be taken away. Time and time again, I've been told it is a privilege, not a right. Say, okay, all right, fine. It's a privilege, not a right. Tell me what privilege do quote, illegal immigrants have? What privilege do undocumented migrants have? What privilege do they have? If they're undocumented, that means they're not in the system. That means they probably don't pay taxes. That means they all these things, right? What privilege do they have? It's supposed to be a privilege. If we are going to still operate under the assumption that it's a privilege, it's supposed to be a privilege of citizenship. And of citizenship in good standing. If you get parking tickets and don't pay them, your license is taken away. If you do certain things, your driver's license is up for grabs in many, many other avenues, many other arenas of dealing with a state or dealing with other states even. Your driver's license can be suspended for all kinds of shit. It's supposed to be a privilege of being a citizen of some state, of being a citizen of the United States and a subsection B of Wyoming. Okay, well, what privilege do undocumented migrants have? They don't have any privilege because they're not citizens, right? Well, yeah. So if you're going to argue that they should have driver's licenses, which I won't disagree with, because they're good, honest, hardworking people like anybody else, they just happen to be undocumented, quote, illegal status. All right. Then I guess if we're going to champion this cause, if we're going to champion the cause of get driver's licenses into the hands of undocumented migrants, then we should probably abandon the notion that driving is a privilege of citizenship. Driving isn't a privilege anymore, because when you start extending the license to drive to illegal, undocumented non-citizens, when you start extending licensure to those non-citizens, it's not a privilege anymore. Now you're talking about we're not denying people their right to drive. You're not denying, the state of Colorado is no longer denying illegal immigrants or non-documented migrants their right to drive. Driving, before it was practically a right. Now it's codified. At least in a few different states, that driving is a right. So I don't want to hear anymore. Go ahead, liberal America. Give undocumented migrants all the licenses to drive you want. All of them. Fine, great, good. I applaud you for your progressive thinking. I look forward to these hardworking people being into the workforce and helping create great American products or great American services. I look forward to it. I think it's great. I think it's a good idea. Now, I also similarly don't want to fucking hear about how driving is a privilege anymore. Driving is not a privilege. Driving is now a right. No more of this privilege bullshit. No more of that. If you're extending it to undocumented non-citizens because of some lobby group, because of some supposed need for it, which I don't disagree with, it's no longer a privilege. It's a right. Thank you, liberal America and liberal legislatures around the country, for helping me prove this amazing point that no longer in our society is driving a privilege. It is a fucking right, and we need to start treating it as such. And when you start fucking with people for bullshit with respect to driving, you're fucking with their rights. Not with their privileges, with their rights. And that gives us a whole new lens through which to look at a whole bunch of ways we fuck with our own selves in our society. All right, let's bring it home. Another great Lefty show. I thank you all for joining. Welcome. Thank you all for joining. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over the outro. Usually another 15 minutes. And thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I put on a great show for you. I hope you enjoyed listening. I enjoyed putting on this great show for you. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for watching youtube.com/LeftyOX. Thank you for following me on Twitter @Lefty643. Thank you to everybody for sharing the show. Head on over to the RSS feed, leftyshow.podbean.com, or head on over to your favorite Android podcasting app of choice. Search The Lefty Show, or go to the iTunes client, search The Lefty Show. Find us on the iTunes store, The Lefty Show. Search us there, subscribe, leave a rating on the feed. I'mRacing.com/643 Productions is where you go if you want to find, if you want to help out the show monetarily. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. That's my time. I got to get out of here. Enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye.
Scusi,